I think that because we inherently create, if it isn't functioning properly, that's a good point to ask what is blocking you? What is blocking you from being able to create the life that you want to live? What is blocking you from being able to create something that is lovely, that is life giving, that is encouraging, that is inspiring, that actually supports you in your life? Or what is blocking you from like abundance, right? That we were just talking about that. And that is definitely something that I know a lot of people ask, including myself. And sometimes abundance is just not coming to me. And so I ask, what's blocking me from that? Why is abundance not coming like it should? Because I believe that when I'm aligned, how I'm supposed to be aligned, then abundance can flow and prosperity. And it's to support what I'm doing, right? It's supposed to be supporting whatever my purpose is, not just like living a fat life in a mansion, right? Like there's more to life than that. And those people that live those lives, that's usually what they say is I felt empty. Why do they feel empty? Because mansions don't fulfill us, you know. It's our purpose, and it's our connectedness that we feel fulfilled and happy in life. And so when you feel like things just aren't functioning properly, you're putting out all the prayers, all the intentions, you're doing all these rituals, right? And yet you're feeling like love isn't coming to you, prosperity, abundance isn't coming to you, right? Success is not coming to you. You're having difficulty communicating, even. Sometimes that's a really good indicator that something's off in your energy body, right? I had that with my throat chakra just a couple years ago. I was talking to people and I was realizing that I was just like slicing and dicing people up. And I'm like, why is like, I am not having the intention of hurting or offending or like anybody. Like I don't want to do that. That's the least thing that I want to do. And I just was like freaked out by it. Like I literally don't have this intention and yet this is what I'm doing. How do I fix this? And so I went to an energy healer and she was like, "Whoa, dang girl, your throat chakra is like, woo, it's like off the charts. It's so active." And but it's not positively active. And so it was kind of like this block that was happening. And because of that block that was happening, it was because I used to sing and I stopped singing. So my throat was so used to expressing, right? That energy around expressing through your voice. Um, was really, really active for my whole life, basically. And then in a couple years, when I walked away from the music industry and stopped singing in church and leading worship, and that was around the same time that I was shifting, and kind of walking away from organized religion and kind of following the new path that I was trying to discover and understand more about metaphysical things and just worldviews and other beliefs. And I was just expanding my awareness and my understanding of the world and spirituality. And so that wasn't a focus. Singing wasn't a focus anymore. And so I guess that actually caused a restriction. And then it was kind of like an explosion was happening energetically every time that I spoke. It was like, bah, because that was like the only expression, the only moment of expression. And so it was coming out with this intensity and this energy. It wasn't even what I was saying, it was the energy behind what I was saying. And that was a huge lesson learned for me. And so a lot of times, I mean, the same thing can happen in our heart. If we have been hurt and we are not healed in our heart, maybe you just came out of an abusive relationship, or maybe things just didn't end well. And so it was really painful. So important to deal with that energy, to heal, to resolve the karma around that relationship, which most likely there was already karma that needed to be learned. And so making sure that you learn those lessons and resolve whatever karma was needed to be resolved in that relationship, it's so important because that really changes things and that changes you going forward. And so a lot of times we feel like we're just repelling people, we're just repelling um, friendships. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic, it could be even family members. And you're like, why am I having such tension and butting heads with family, like the people that get me and know me best, right? Why am I having this happen? And that may be because you just need to deal with that energy in your heart chakra or in your throat or wherever you're feeling it. So I think it's a really good question to ask, what's blocking you, and even what is contradicting your worth, your value, your truth. Those are really great questions to ask yourself in order to kind of go down deep and see what it is that is um the reason why you have something that is unresolved and unhealed, and discovering exactly what that is in the core of that. Um so if you're not able to allow an emotion, a thought, an energy to move through you, then it will get stuck. There will be a loop. And that is what I have found has been like maybe the hardest to deal with, because when you don't allow something to move through you, then you're not allowing that process of allowing and releasing and letting go. And I think for me, the hardest thing about that has been not wanting to feel, not wanting to think about it. Whatever it is, I'm just like, no, I want to be happy. No, I don't want to feel like that. No, I don't want to experience that emotion or that thought. I don't want to think about what happened or what was said. And I even did that this week. I immediately deleted whatever I needed to delete in order to just not see it, not think about it, and just to move on. And I realized, oh, I'm resisting. I'm self rejecting. I'm not honoring what I feel, and I'm not honoring the situation and the lessons that need to be learned. So it's so important to allow whatever the emotion is, whatever the thought is, whatever the energy is. It's not that you glorify it or that you make it bigger than what it is. It's that you just say, I'm just allowing this to move through me. I'm not identifying with it. I'm not attaching to it. I'm not serving it dinner, but I'm allowing it to move through me for me to feel it. But I'm not going to allow something to loop or ruminate, which we've talked a lot about, ruminating thoughts or emotional loops. So it's not something that you are like giving center stage to in your life, but you're just recognizing, this is what I'm feeling. These are the thoughts that I'm thinking. And so I'm just letting it go. I'm letting the thought go like a passing cloud, right? I'm not going to allow it to sit and block the light, right? Instead, I'm just going to allow it to move through. Or the emotion, if I need to cry, I'm going to allow myself to cry. If I'm angry, I'm just going to allow myself to be upset, angry, but it's for a moment. I think that's something that's really important. I know a lot of people talk about dark night of the soul, and they talk about it as if it's a season of life. I just don't think dark nights of the soul need to be many nights. I think it doesn't need to be a season. If you allow things to move through you and you allow things to flow and you allow things to pass by, then it can be the dark night of the soul. It doesn't have to be long. And that's been something that I've also struggled with is for fear of something lasting a long time. I'm like, okay, let's get through it. Okay, let's do it. Okay, let's feel all the feels, let's think all the thoughts. And so then I'm not allowing it just to flow through. And I think it's so important because a lot of times when things flow through us, especially women, when we have an emotion, it flows through in layers. And sometimes that emotion needs to touch all parts of us in order to flow in and out. It needs to pass through your whole being on all levels. It needs to pull into question maybe thoughts around worth and value and what you believe, what you know is true. And that's a great moment to affirm what you know is true, to affirm your value and your worth, like we were saying before. So you don't want anything to get stuck, and you don't want to be in a loop. It's just not fun, not the fun way to go. And it's not how you resolve things. It's not how you heal things. So let me see. We have a question. What do we do when there's a karma to be healed with family, but the other person won't meet you halfway? Such a good question. So Here's the simple answer to that. You don't need both people in order to resolve the karma. You can actually resolve the karma on your end, and it's actually up to the other person to resolve their own karma on their end. So, what you can do is if there's forgiveness that needs to happen, um, if they're unwilling to have a conversation around whatever it is that needs to be healed or resolved, then that's okay because you can still deal with it on your end. You can still choose to have the conversation with yourself around what happened, how that made you feel. You can then affirm your worth and value and also affirm theirs. I think sending good energy to people and thoughts and intentions as I'm going to heal this. And I know that this is going to create then a polarization between me and this person. And whether it's a friend, a family member, or someone that you're in a relationship with, even your kid or something like that. When you shift the energy inside of you, a lot of times that helps that person to shift as well. Sometimes it actually just does it because it unlocks something. So this is what happens when we do like cord cutting. When you energetically snip snip, it actually then creates a disconnect between the two of you or a group between a group and you, and it actually creates then no connection, and it allows freedom for them and freedom for you. And no longer are you connected and feeling their karma, their energy, their stuff connected to you. It's something that's so important. Even after a first date, I do cord cutting because you just never know what energies are exchanging, right? And what thoughts or energies are around that person, emotions that are around that person. And so it's really good to just cleanse yourself, cleanse your aura. A lot of times I do that. I actually have this on hand. Selenite wands are awesome, awesome tools for cleansing your aura. And so I do that all the time. I'm cleansing all the time my aura. This is one tool that you can use. This is not the only tool that you can use. A lot of times, like in Reiki, we can just do it with our hands. So learning Reiki 1, getting attuned to Reiki 1 is one way that you can also do this, because then you can literally brush your aura. And it's awesome, awesome tool to help you self-heal and also resolve any kind of energies around you, even in your space. But I think even if you're not attuned to Reiki 1, I think we all have the authority and the influence over our space and over ourselves. So you don't have to get Reiki 1. It is a level up, I have to say. But you can also use tools like this and other crystals that can help move and shift energy and absorb energy and things like that. It's so cool that we have tools like this. But I hope I answered your question, because karma is usually something that was not learned. So it's a lesson that needs to be learned, or it's something that needs to be experienced in order for that energy to resolve itself. So when there's something that has happened in the past, and it could be passed, like passed down through generations, like ancestrally, or it can be passed down like in your past lives. So, and it's sometimes you don't know where it's coming from. For me, for a long time, I didn't know if I was feeling like the level of depression and rejection and suicidal thoughts, because my grandma really struggles with that, really struggles with rejection, abandonment. Victim mentality is huge, and I've struggled with that my whole dang life. So I thought, oh, I've inherited this. Like, this is a generational curse, so to speak. In the Christian world, we call it generational curses. And so I thought maybe that was what was happening. But in kind of discovering past lives and karma and learning more about that, I kind of felt way more aligned with the fact that no, this has actually been passed down through past lives. And my grandma is probably just somebody, a soul that that I needed to kind of show me what the end result is like. When you allow rejection, when you allow abandonment, depression, suicide to just go and be, and the victim mentality, when you allow that just to to fly. That's how you end up being. And it's not an entirely, she lives a happy life, but she is so limited, and she's not able to fully enjoy her life. And so that's something that hurts to see, because she's such a beautiful person and beautiful soul. But it's a reminder that I want to be so present in my journey, because I do not want to be that person that can only see things as being a victim to things, or being rejected or abandoned or not wanted, not worthy, not valuable enough to be loved, to be wanted, to be seen, to be heard. So I think it really starts with ourselves. As soon as we acknowledge ourselves, that is when we are then connecting and honoring and saying that we are worthy of that connection. We are worthy of healing. We are worthy of being present with ourselves. And if we don't first love ourselves, then how do we expect someone else to love us? I think that's how you end up attracting the right partner. For anybody that's wondering, is that you first love yourself. You first accept yourself and value yourself, honor yourself. Then the right person is attracted to you. That same energy is going to go, ooh, like I want somebody that values themselves. I want somebody that that loves themselves and prioritizes themselves. And you end up attracting that person, that right partner for you. Not perfect, because none of us are perfect, but you end up attracting like energy. And so that is actually when it's like the best relationship, best partnership, friendship, all of that you end up attracting. And so that's what you want. That's what I want. I'm sure that's what you want as well. So learning how to heal is really learning the lesson that the wound, the karma, the belief, the mindset is providing us the opportunity to learn. So instead of seeing things as happening to us, we need to see things as happening for us, even if it's not pleasant, even if it's something that is difficult, even if it's a challenge or seems like an obstacle. It's just allowing you to move through that, to move through what you think is a limitation, to move through something that you feel like, I just don't have the strength to do that. I don't have the strength to face that. That's when it's like, well, actually, here's your opportunity to learn how strong you actually really are, or your resilience, or your level of patience and grace for people. That's when you actually see who you are and what you're made of. And so life is constantly an opportunity for us to learn, to grow, to heal, to resolve, to let go of. Life is like the perfect makeup. And I think something that a friend of mine actually said is that um, life, every moment is literally something that we chose in order to heal those things that we needed to heal. So Samuel, like you mentioned, family member, you chose to be in the family that you're in for this specific reason, to learn whatever the lesson is, to resolve whatever that karma is, to heal. And so we have the perfect makeup of family, friends, colleagues, bosses that literally we chose this life, we chose these experiences, we said yes to it. And it's our opportunity to heal, learn, grow, resolve. So we have this opportunity, this very unique opportunity, to acknowledge, hold space for ourselves, honor ourselves, reconnect or deeply connect with ourselves. Maybe you're connected, but you're not super, super deeply connected. Maybe this is your opportunity to deeply connect and relate with yourself and honor yourself and what you feel, what you think, and the energy around you. And as we do this, this is how we basically connect with things that are maybe subconscious, that are really deep under the surface, or karma that isn't necessarily something that we have experienced or need to deal with in this life, but it's something that was passed down ancestrally or passed down through past lives that was unresolved or unhealed. And so we have this unique opportunity in this lifetime to go ahead and heal and learn whatever the lesson is that we need to learn so that we can continue to move forward, enjoy our life, and fulfill whatever the purpose is that we came here to fulfill. And so I love you all so much. I hope that you got a ton out of this episode, that this has inspired you, encouraged you, uplifted you, validated even the things that you have experienced and felt in your life, because you should feel validated. We're human. Having a human experience in this lifetime, and it's not easy, and you're doing great. I promise you're doing great, because you're here, you're listening, you're wanting to learn more, you're wanting to connect more. And that's why you're listening to this episode. That's why you listen to this podcast. That's why you're in the Soulish community. And yes, you're so welcome. I'm so grateful for you all. You all help me to also grow and learn and heal, and you inspire me and your lives. So thank you so much for sharing, for joining me in this live recording. So fun. We should do more of these. This was really fun. Thank you so much for your time and for listening to this episode. If you're listening to this episode, thank you so much for listening, and more on this to come. I think this is such a great subject and something that is just really a part of our journeys. It's so closely connected to our journeys, whether it's spiritual journey or soul journey. It's so important to have this conversation. So I love you guys. I will see you guys next week.